I'd like to talk about some of your other remote viewings. Now, one in particular I'd like to discuss is you were tasked with remote viewing Mars, from what I understand. And the
Yeah,
time period, I believe, was 1 million BC.
yeah, 1 million BC.
Who was that directed by?
Well, when it was tasked, I was sleeping in the industrial cube, the sealed cube, in Bob Monroe's lab at the Monroe Institute, because we had been working on going out of body and controlling it. And I was exhausted. So we've been working. This was Sunday, I think. And he woke me up, and I said, yeah, I'm awake. What's going on? He said, well, I have some people here from Department of the Army, and they have a target for you. And I said, okay, what do you want me to do? He said, well, why don't he said, I have an envelope here. There's nothing written on it. It's in my pocket. Tell me something about it. So it started out with a really large pyramid. And I said, first thing, words out of my mouth was, this must be a new discovery. And he said, why do you say that? And I said, because it's huge. It's bigger than the Pyramid of Giza. Must be a new discovery somewhere. And then he said, well, tell me something about it. That's what I want to know. And so I said, it's got really large rooms inside. It's kind of surprising because the way pyramids are built, that can't be done. You can't have large rooms inside because of the weight of the construction. So it must be some new form of construction. So are you sure this is not a new discovery? And he said, just tell me what I need to know. So I said, well, it appears to be some form of protection of survivors of some cataclysm. And they're in stasis. They're waiting for somebody to come. I said, but I think it's too late. I think they're all dead. And he said, why do you say that? And I said, because I feel like the messages I'm getting are like leftover mental images, things that they pass differently from normal or something like that. So he asked me some other questions. He moved me around in the target and asked me some other questions and things. And it turned out there were 6 specific targets that I was given in that particular case. And all 6 of them I described exactly what was standing there. And when I say that, I mean what was also pictured in negatives by JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, California. And so I finally said, it's like a special race of people or something. I'm getting humans just like we are, but I'm not so sure they're humans like we understand human, because they're way bigger. So what do you mean? I said they're like 10 feet tall, really huge, but they're proportionately the same and very human-like. So I don't know what's going on here. I said, and the sun looks really weird. And he said, I don't care about the sun. Tell me more of what's on the ground. So he was being a pretty good monitor at the time. And so we basically finished the whole line of it. And I came out. I said, what's going on? And I was introduced to these people. And the guy that had brought them was Fred Atwater, my old training officer. So this was far as I was concerned, was an active mission because we were still doing remote viewing with the project. And so I said, so where is this? Is this a new discovery or something? And he says, well, Bob's got the envelope. It has a target identified in it. And Bob, oh yeah, I got it right here. And he pulled it out of his shirt pocket and just opened it up as an envelope. Nothing written on it. And so we opened up the envelope, and inside it said Mars, 1 million years BC. And I said, wow. I mean, what are you going to say? But everything that's actually on the ground, I described. There is what I decided to do was the next time I was in California, I was going to go by JPL and get copies of the negatives because somebody said, oh, that's all BS. And I said, no, I think they're pictures, specific pictures for the different GPS locations. See, these were all GPSs that they read to me while I was in the box. The GPSs, in my mind, were for Earth. I never heard of GPSs for another planet. It turns out every planet in our universe has got GPSs that match the Earth's because they're all spherical, as well as the moons and everything else. So I didn't understand it to be off the Earth. I thought GPSs only worked on the Earth, so that's why I kept thinking it was a new discovery. But it turned out I went to JPL, and I walked up to the counter, and I had the actual card that had the GPSs written on it. 6 or 7 GPSs. I think there were 7, and I just didn't do the 7th because I was too tired. I worked on it for maybe an hour and a half, and I was tired anyway from working all day. So I walked up to the desk, and the guy said, can I help you? And I said, yeah, I understand all the pictures taken in space belong to the American people. And he said, of course they do. It's taxes paid for them. I said, okay, I'd like to see all the pictures for these GPSs. And he took one look at the card and said, oh, that's the old city on Mars. And opened the drawer and pulled out a packet and handed it to me. And inside the packet are all the negatives. And I blew up the negatives, and guess what's in my book? Everything I described. An old fort, pyramids, big impact crater with a road running through it. There's a road runs straight as an arrow for 1,200 kilometers on Mars that go right through the heart of a huge impact crater. And where the road come through, you can see where the impact crater has been modified to let the road through one side and out the other. Now, here's the thing that made it real for me. The outer edges of the impact crater, they know how tall the edges are of the impact crater because there's a half-inch of shadow line around them. And they know the angle that the picture was taken and from where, and the sun's position and all that. So they can tell you that the half-inch of shadow line around the outside edge of the impact crater tells you that it's 3,000 feet high, the walls of the impact crater. That's not really a super high wall on an impact crater, but what they don't tell you, and it's shown in the picture, is in the upper rim edge of the impact crater is a little triangular piece sticks out on the side of the impact crater. That had to have been put there by somebody. It's a construct. It sticks straight out at a perfect 90-degree angle. It goes like that.
Is it part of the pyramid?
No. It's part of the wall of the impact crater. So you got an edge up here, 3,000 feet up, and there's a triangular piece that sticks out and goes back in. And on top of that is a pyramid. It looks like a pyramid because you're looking straight down on top of it. The shadow from that pyramid that you're looking straight down on top of is 2.5 inches out. Now, if the impact crater has a 1/2 inch shadow and it's 3,000 feet tall, how tall do you think that 2.5 inch shadow is? It's up there. I said to the guy at JPL when he showed them to me, I looked at it. I said, how tall do you figure this is? And he said, really tall. And I said, well, okay, how did it get there? It had to be put there after the impact crater hit. After that thing that made the impact crater had hit Mars. It couldn't have been put there before, because the impact would have
destroyed
blown it away. I said, this thing is literally tens of thousands of feet tall. What the hell is it? And he said, well, a lot of people think it's a shard. It kind of grew there. And I went, I started laughing.
It grew.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure this thing grew there. But who built the support for it on the edge of the impact crater? Well, nobody knows about that. It's anybody's guess. So there's no doubt in my mind that what they're saying about this old city is true, because that's true. I mean, why? It's like I ask questions about it, and they just look at you like you're stupid and say, well, we don't know. Why did you take pictures of that area of Mars? We don't know. How do you think that got? Well, we don't know.
I mean, what is your thought process after that?
I happen to think the only aliens on our planet is us.